Next topic. Zion Williamson is in the news, man. He's dunking between the legs. He's playing one-on-one with teammates just a day after he was announced he's going to miss the rest of the regular season. He was announced he's going to be missed the regular season. The very next day, he's posting videos of him going between the legs, him playing one-on-one with his teammate, dominating, looking crazy. Big react.
This is why Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. It is. Because his second year in the league, he had a foot surgery.
Yes, I remember
and he had to sit out the whole year until late in the year. Mm-hmm. And then he was put on a minutes restriction. But literally, this guy wanted to return as soon as possible. He fought the minutes restriction at every fucking opportunity. And then he goes in the playoffs that year on a hopeless Bulls team and drops 63 on a Hall of Fame Celtics team. Players play. That's what they do. It's as natural to play and compete for Michael Jordan as it is to breathe. And if you're not that, if you're Zion Williamson and you're healthy enough to screw around and do dunks, but you're not on the court, fuck you. You're not the right guy. You're not that guy. You're a pretender. Mm. And that's it. Players fucking play. That's what they do.
Time. That's for sure, man. All right. Now, Pink, the NBA scoring league is coming down to like an all-time down to the wire between Joel Embiid, LeBron James, and Giannis. This is just a simple question. Who do you think will win the NBA scoring title, and who do you want to win? Go.
I think LeBron's going to win because in a weird way it matters most to him. And it's become like the salvageable narrative of this miserable season. And so he'll make it happen. Mm. And I think that, that Giannis doesn't care at all. I think he's looking at a title. And I think Joel Embiid, to his credit, is looking at, MVP and making a playoff run and making the James Harden situation work. And LeBron's literally the only guy that it really matters to. Mm. And so he'll probably win it.
All right. Now, 4 Florida men are in the news. One of them I know for sure is from the Tampa area. Not sure if all of them are or not. But anyhow, they are allegedly hacked gas pumps to get pennies on the gallon as prices continue to soar. They came up with this device, all right? I guess smart guys, but one of the guys were in Lakeland at the time, so nearby.
Okay.
All right. And one of them was still in diesel fuel. The other one was still in regular fuel. So apparently this can, you know what I mean, go all around.
So so this works where they do what they do and they pump gas into their vehicle and it's at a reduced price?
Yes.
They're still paying something, but it's not what the pump says you should be paying.
Yeah, pennies on the dollar.
So they're sticking it to the system.
Yeah. So one guy filled up his car and 10 containers for a total of $2.
Way to go, buddy.
Yeah. All right. React.
Part of me is just rooting these guys on. Gas prices are ridiculously high. There's the corporate, you read the corporate stuff that these oil companies made, billions of dollars last year alone. And, they can't take a short-term hit to preserve some stability in our transportation. Fuck them. Let it be a free-for-all. Get cheap gas. So, yeah, go for it, guys. Sorry you're from Tampa. But, I mean, why should we be, it's like Robin Hood stuff. Why should we be sympathetic to, Exxon or one of these cocksuckers? Man?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like it. Clever. Keep it up, boys.
All right. March Madness, man, is rolling around. This is one of those years where I don't feel like it's a lot of hype and attention on it. I could be wrong. I don't watch a lot of ESPN like I used to. How did you fill out a bracket? How are your teams doing? Like, what is, are you paying attention to it?
Filled out a bracket with my nephew had his baseball team did it as a fundraiser. My bracket is terrible. Most of the teams that I had going places are gone. But, and I literally have never watched less college basketball. I watched a handful of FSU games during the regular season. But I'll tell you what, St. Peter's got me. I absolutely love that story. Shaheen Holloway's fucking phenomenal. The white guy Doug has been fun to watch, and it's just hysterical. But that's what March Madness is all about. These guys play in a gym that looks like most high school gyms here are better, and they knock off Kentucky, they knock off Murray State. They're in the Sweet 16, and Holloway is that guy. He's just so just full of energy, full of competitiveness. It seeps through to his teams. He's got a regional team. I absolutely love everything going on there. And the other one is Juwan Howard. And I thought, most of my life that I've known Juwan Howard, he's had the reputation of being a good dude.
Yeah.
And he had the thing at the end of the handshake line, and people were quick to jump on him and this, that, and the other thing. He gets the suspension. This proves that his team loves him, and it proves that he's a good dude. And I love to see him get a pair of FU wins to everybody who hated him. and you can tell, with Chris Webber there and Ray Jackson there, how much it meant. Him, one more, I got to keep going. When him consoling the Tennessee player was also clutch. This is just, that says who you are.
Yeah.
That reveals who you are, not some weirdness in a handshake line. That's who you are. I want people to see it. I want people to remember it and judge for the majority of what somebody is, not the exception.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. From what I know, from what I've heard, because I haven't seen the last episode yet, but the Kanye doc is over now, right?
Yeah, my understanding was 3 pieces. I've seen all 3 pieces.
Yeah, so I've seen 1 and 2. Now, from what I read online, it kind of spent towards this is where Kanye went off the rails, or if you will, like this is the last piece. This is why Kanye is who he is today.
I don't think it did it did not do a good job of explaining that, to be perfectly honest. But the first 2 episodes were very connected to his origins, his rise to the fame we know today, his musical genius. The third was, and it's a function of a couple things. He elevated in stardom to a certain place where Cootie, the guy that was shooting all the footage, didn't have the same access. And so in part 3 of this thing, months, even years pass between footage. And there's not that connection that they had before. And sometimes there's friction there. And sometimes he's not really paying attention to him. And so that affects what's available to see. But the basic narrative is kind of the basic narrative of what we know. His mother passes. He kind of gets, depressed and has a lot of things going on. There are references to medication in this. It's not super explicit. It's not detailed in a way that's like he's on his medication, he's off, and you notice a change of behavior. But what you see is tremendously inconsistent behavior, sometimes bizarre behavior, and just a lost dude. And it's the third part of it. And we talked about this after episodes 1 and 2. I loved it. It was one of the best things I've ever seen. Episode 3 left me with a sense of just kind of like sadness.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I just don't know. And you could draw a simple line, well, the guy loved his mom so much he's broken. I also look at the thing, there's no mention of drugs or medications or anything in the first 2 episodes. And I think people rely on dumb shit sometimes.
Yeah.
And
to get by.
Yeah. They lose who they are.
Yeah.
And I don't, I don't question, his mother's death hit him hard. It was unexpected. He probably feels guilty because if he wasn't who he was, her ass ain't getting plastic surgery.
Yeah.
And I could see all that connection. I could see where guilt could arise. But again, kind of like that first thing we talked about, at the end of the day, you're responsible for your own behavior. You're responsible for who you are. And if you can't, deal with adversity and move forward, if you need to lean on other things that are not natural to you to get by, you're fucking up your life.
Yeah.
You're stealing your own joy. And that's really deeply sad. And that's what the emotion of that last thing was. He would go on these oddball rants about stuff, and it just was like, and again, a part of it's probably too the economic power that you have and nobody questions you anymore. and people just want to be connected to you, so they say anything they
A
want.
lot of yes men.
Yeah, and it's just you lose that perspective. And so, I mean, it was really an illustration of how you can lose yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what we have with Kanye now.
Yeah.
It's really kind of pathetic. I mean, the same guy is still there in parts. I'm sure you could be around him at times and feel like you're with the guy that you knew back in the day, and there's still moments of musical genius, but there's a lot of moments of just like, what is this about?
Yeah.
What are you doing, man? And it's sad to watch. I mean, so much of it just seems unnecessary.
Yeah.
But it happens to way too many, kind of like artistic high level success.